Good morning, Thailand. Hope you are doing well wherever you are in the world. This is Triple T, your humble host at Teacher Thomas Thailand at YouTube. And out and about early this morning, like I am every morning, and spontaneously decided to do a little live stream on the YouTube. And we have soy dogs, we have cassava fields that have just been recently harvested and replanted. Dally, 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 come on. Dally getting too far away from her home. Good morning, Gary. Thanks for stopping by. How's the video and the audio? Can you give me a live stream check? Okay, while they're in the distance, so we can't see their faces, let's take a look at something you will see every early AM in the Kingdom of Thailand, no matter where you are. The monks are gathering alms. All good, thank you, Gary. All right, appreciate it. We are streaming from the hotspot, as we are a ways from the house here. So the monks are gathering their alms, and now they're starting to walk this way, so we're going to head that way. We don't capture their faces on a live stream. Panning slowly for you here. How you doing, Gary? How's everything in Australia, mate? How's life down under? We are walking on what I call Payun Road. I don't think that's the actual Tesabon number, but basically all the soys that come off of this road are labeled by the word Payun. 180 degrees behind us, you would, there go the monks gathering up the alms, guys. At least they got a little transport. Here's some walking. Now this is Thailand early in the morning. Like I was saying, directly behind us, 180 degrees, facing south would be Payun Beach, and also right before we get to the beach is Payun Temple. That's where these monks are coming from. Now this young lady stopping on her motorcycle to offer some alms. Good morning, Sue Rowan. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Thailand. Alms are such an important part of life for the Buddhist culture here. Not all Thais are Buddhist or religious at all, but those who are, you see this young lady is getting her prayers or the offering of food that she has given the monks. So that's very, very common. Same time every day, guys. Same time every day. Right at dawn, all of your local monks will either be walking, or like some of the elder monks that we saw, they were riding on what's called a saling, which is a motorcycle with a sidecar. So that's Thailand, guys. Sue Rowan, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to your hacienda. Life is great now that Susan is back home. I can only imagine, my friend. I can only imagine. You guys were apart from each other for quite a while there while Mom was assisting with the daughters. There goes another group of monks. So that's Thailand, guys, every day. Something special about it. I'm not a Buddhist myself. I do somewhat understand the teachings of the Buddha, although I'll never say that I actually understand all the complexities of Buddhism. But I do know that the Buddha era was 543 years before the year of our Lord Jesus Christ. So long before Jesus' teaching, the Buddha, I believe, received enlightenment about the sufferings of humanity and became a very important teacher to a lot of people in various cultures around the world. Right, started up in northern India, in Nepal. But yeah, I have a lot of respect for the teachings, and I see a lot of correlation with the golden rule of Christianity. Treat others how you wish to be treated. There's definitely a lot of that in Buddhism. There's one of our favorite restaurants, family owned. It's called the Purple Parrot. So it's on the Google map, guys. You know, you can check when you arrive in Bangkok and go to your Google map, search Purple Parrot, Bon Chong. It's going to pop right up, and you will know the neighborhood of Nam Yen and Triple T. You will be real close. So now you know the location. Got 4 people watching, 1 thumb up. Thanks, guys. You know how we do on these live streams, unannounced. We don't give moderators or anybody else any notice about it. And I just thought it'd be a good morning to go live. Got a little bit to talk about that's relevant to those of you who are considering retiring or eventually having some expat life, whether it's business or retirement, here in the Kingdom of Thailand. For those of you that don't know, I will be starting my 9th year here in a few days. I think October 15th, 2015 is when I arrived, so I'll begin my 9th year, and every year, thank you, Sue, nice early morning walking, thank you. Every year, I have done my own annual visa extension. I came to Thailand on a visa exempt stamp, didn't even have a visa, not even a tourist visa. Didn't know if I was going to like it, didn't know if I was going to want to stay here. Already been to South America and a few other countries looking for a tropical climate to have a second home. And, you know, after I arrived, I fell in love with the place. I mean, there's not everything that I liked about it. I was in the northern suburbs of Bangkok, so I really didn't like all the noise and the busy traffic, but I'm not a big city guy. I lived in a big city most of my adult life, and then before my oldest child was a junior in high school, we moved to a very small town of about 1,500 people with a great single A school district, right? We wanted our kids to experience a better school life. Aloha, Ron, 25. Are you coming to us from Hawaii, sir? Thank you for tuning in. But anyway, after I met Nam Yen in November, like a month after I had arrived, and I arrived single, by the way. Yes, sir. Well, cheers to Hawaii. Thanks for tuning in to Early Morning Thailand. I think your region and this region have a lot in common as far as the tropical belt of the globe. Obviously, there's a big difference. You're in a chain of islands over there, but and we're on the Southeast Asian continent. But probably a lot of ways. We live a life of sandals here in Thailand. Jake Hodges in the house. House Triple D. Well, we'll go check on him in just a second. We are here at the house now, the hacienda. Our property starts right here at this corner. So it's the very first 2-story on the left in our village. So anyway, cheers to Hawaii, man. Cheers to Hawaii. But we do live a life of sandals. If you so choose to wear sandals every day in Thailand, you can pretty much do that, right? So it's a different kind of lifestyle than most of us are used to, especially in North America where we have long winters, right? 6 months cold weather. You wouldn't even think about going outside in sandals. So that's really the biggest appeal. I think most people choose a tropical climate when they're able to retire or become an expat, whether it be the Caribbean. South America is really popular with Americans. Especially Colombia. A lot of Americans go to Colombia and retire. Same kind of climate, low cost of living, that kind of stuff. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, for 8 consecutive years now, I have extended my own marriage visa. After Nam Yen and I dated for a while, we ended up getting married and I had to leave the country. We just went to Laos, up in Vientiane, Laos, to the Thai embassy outside of Thailand. Because again, I came to Thailand with a visa exempt stamp for 30 days, and I had it extended twice. Back then, you could do that. depending on the officer and the circumstances at the immigration office. Always have to have that disclaimer. But I got by with 2 extensions. So I was in Thailand 90 days before I needed to do something on a visa. And because Yin and I just kind of really fell for each other, and I felt like it was a right choice for me, we went ahead and got married in Dan Muang, which is not difficult to do in Thailand. I think it's a little bit more difficult now, but back then it was like a 1-day process. You'd take your witness with you and all that kind of stuff, go to City Hall and get the license and everything that day, right? So after I got married, then, like I said, we left the country and went to Laos and went to the Thai embassy. I applied for the marriage visa, came back into Thailand. That was 2016 with a marriage visa, and ever since then, I've been on the exact same visa, no overstay. And I do my own visa extensions every year. It's very cumbersome. I've done videos on it. And I'm going through that process right now. So I get a lot of people that ask me, and I've had quite a few conversations with locals here, both Thai and Farang, Thai ladies that have Farang husband and Farangs themselves, about dealing with the immigration every year with the long, arduous process of your annual extension, improving all of your financial requirements. And as a marriage visa is one of the longer form visas, I think, because you got to prove the marriage, you got to have your wife's information in there, all of that, right? You have to have a visit to your home by immigration after your application is accepted. So they actually have to come out and see you at your home. You provide photos of you and your wife in the home, and then they take more photos when they come for the visit. It's quite a process, but I've done it myself every year. And speaking to other people that often ask me, what I would recommend when it comes to visa extensions. We're not talking about the initial visa, but every year, regardless of what type of non-immigrant visa you have to extend it, right? You're only here on an annual basis unless you're on an elite visa, which is like a 5-year retirement status visa, right? So I'm not talking about elite or other, so-called VIP programs. We're talking about standard annual visas. They expire every year. You have to be approved every year. And that's what I'm going through right now. Started it on Monday this week. I still have, another 20 days before my visa expires, so I always started early. And let's just say it's, even with all the experience that I have, and I keep a 3rd copy of everything from last year, so I know when I begin this year's process, I have everything from the previous year. Try to make it easier on myself, right? You still run into problems, You go the first day, they find something that's not quite correct. You have to leave, you correct it, you come back, and then they look and they find something else. And so it can be very, very frustrating, to say the least. So the question that people ask me is, should I just use a visa agent? Once I get my first visa and I come into Thailand with the visa, and then I, have to file for an extension every year, should I use an agent? And I say, yes, 100%, use an agent. Even though I've tried to show people that I do it myself, and, I've found a way to simplify it. To each their own, right? I may be kind of crazy that way, to where I want to do it myself so that I'm maintaining my knowledge about the requirements every year. And there have been changes, right? And now I use the monthly income method. So when you use the monthly income method, you really, really have to show a record of the previous 12-month deposits, and all. It's more detailed than using the lump sum method. But I wouldn't recommend people do it themselves, just because, you do all the hard work and you get up there, you get rejected. It deflates your bubble a little bit. You thought you had everything right? You come back and something that was not a problem the first trip, now all of a sudden there's a problem in another area that they've already looked at and didn't tell you was a problem the first time, right? That's very frustrating, right? It's just part of the system, right? Like a friend of mine said, it's like, you go to your DMV, motor vehicle government office in America. It's always frustrating. They're government workers, right? Not really there to help you per se. They're there to draw their salary. They're very comfortable in their positions and, got rights to their governmental contract of employment. It's different than working with the private sector in any country. So here in Thailand, it's, no different. You're dealing with government agencies, and they're going to make sure you cross all your T's and dot all your I's, and period, right? In this story. So it's really easy to get frustrated with that. And I spoke with the lady the other day who has an American husband. They actually have Thai children. And she said she's dealt with the same thing. Every year there's like something different. One year they had to physically bring their child to the immigration office with them when they'd never had to do that before. They just had the child's ID and the child's house book or whatever, right? So, there's always something that's unpredictable that might come up, and that's why I say, always get your application in. You're allowed to file for the renewal 30 days prior to it expiring. So you can start, a month before your visa actually expires. And then that way you can go through all these problems and still have plenty of cushion time, right? You're not on the cusp of being overstay or something. So, but at the end of the day, I would not recommend anyone do it the way I do it. It's too frustrating. It can be overwhelming. And, a guy like me, it's got, 8 years experience now and keeps all of the documents from the previous year. You would think making it seamlessly acceptable. It doesn't work out, and of course you always have to show respect while you're in the immigration office. But, I let my emotions fly afterwards with the frustration. So the agencies take care of that for you, right? The only time you actually have to appear at the office is when you're like getting your visa and signing your documents or whatever. The agents pretty much take care of it. So obviously there's a fee involved, but I think it's worth it. I think it's worth just to pay the fee. Now people ask, well, if you recommend using an agency, why don't you take your own recommendation and use an agency? Well, there's a method to my madness. I've had a mission to become a permanent resident in Thailand, which is basically like a green card holder. You have to have work permit, consecutive years of paying taxes, to qualify to apply for permanent residency. You have to have pretty good long track record in Thailand to apply for the permanent residency. And because of that, I've always had that in my mind, at least for the last 4 or 5 years, that was my goal, was to get permanent resident. Therefore, if I use an agent, I'm losing knowledge. I'm not going to understand the process of the visa every year. And then the permanent resident application is even more complicated, right? So I just feel like for my benefit of knowledge, of knowing and keeping up with all the requirements every year, is going to benefit me when it comes to my permanent resident application, which the window for that, for this fiscal year, will open here in October. So I hope to get my permanent resident application in no later than November. And it's the same kind of thing, only I will absolutely 100% use an attorney. I will not do it myself, and I will not use an agent. I will use a law firm, okay? And but it's the same process in that they put a big stack of papers together, basically your resume for your time in Thailand, and you have to meet the requirements to even apply, right? They put all that together and present it. I think it goes like through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It goes through several, in addition to immigration. It's because if you're granted permanent resident status, you're no longer a non-immigrant. You're an actual immigrant, right? Permanent resident status. You don't have to do visa extensions anymore. It would be like the number one benefit for any long-term expat in Thailand would be to have permanent residency. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, other than citizenship, which you need to hold permanent residency in good standing for a few years before you can actually apply to become a Thai citizen and get a Thai passport. I don't know that I even really need to worry about that, but the permanent residency is a big, big deal. So all of the frustration that I've had for 8 years in a row of extending my visa application will be gone. No 90-day reporting, none of that, right? I'm an immigrant, not a non-immigrant. So that's the only reason I do my own thing, guys, But if somebody is just planning on staying in Thailand and just doing it with an annual visa, which is no problem. There's people that have been in Thailand for 30 years on the same retirement visa. It's pretty much guaranteed that you're going to get your annual extension every year if you meet the qualifications. You haven't got any black marks on your record or something like that, right? But it's a pretty foregone conclusion. And the guys that use an agency, they don't have much of a headache, right? It cost me 1,900 baht per year to keep my visa in good legal status, right? Well, if you use an agency, maybe you pay 20,000 baht a year, which is quite a bit more, but took away all the process for you. Somebody else got your documents together, you sign and show up and, whatever, but you don't actually do the process. So I would recommend, and there is individual like agents in your particular province Maybe they don't have an office, that they're an agency for visa extensions. Maybe they have another business, but they're skilled in helping foreigners with visa assistance. So they are technically agents. It'd be, instead of doing groups, they work for individuals to help them process. And many guys use those kind of agents. Just a one-on-one personal relation, similar to what you would have with an accountant, let's say, right? So yeah, it's a visa agent that's helping you do all of that, but it's not some big company or something somewhere. It's an actual individual Thai, right, that's making the process easy for you for a fee. So anyway, I just wanted to ramble about that because it's relevant to my current status. I will be going back to immigration this morning with my annual visa extension application, and I will be hoping that today is the day that everything is accepted. And that's just the way it goes, you know. It's just the way it goes. It's every year, expect the unexpected. You think you got everything right, but look, they're just not going to accept it. And if there's one document or something that's out of date or something not right, they're not going to accept it. So now if you use an agent, what do you care, right? You don't care, because it's the agent that's going to go 3 times to the immigration office if she can't get your application together, right? So in my case, it's always me. I'm the one that's at fault if it gets rejected, you know? Even if I maybe don't agree with the objections and I think everything is correct, it matters not. You have to leave, you have to go get what they told you to correct, and you have to come back, right? So anyway, that's my short story on visas extensions in Thailand. Say I'm a Nano family based on marriage, but it's not much different for retirement visa holders other than they don't have to have the inspections to make sure they're legally married to a Thai, right? All right, guys, I'll scroll through some of the comments here. Starting at the bottom, Sue Rowan says it's a challenge with paperwork. Seriously, Sue, I will show you the paperwork in just a second. I guess for some people, easier to get an agent to help them. Yes, very much so. And, you know, like I say, I talked to a Thai lady yesterday who runs a business here, married to an American, lived in the States for several years, has children, that are Thai, Thai citizens, right, with houseboats and Tommy and bonds and all that. So every year her husband is, applying for a marriage visa or a family visa. And so she even, it's not just the foreigners that are going to get complications when they take an application in. His wife is, she told me that, and she's really fluent in English, right? Because she lived in the States for so many years. She said, it just, for out of the blue, no reason, the immigration officer asked her to do something that she's never had to do in the past. There's been no change in the law, right? So you just have to comply, right? But she told me that they got really frustrated, and her husband basically wants to use an agency from now on. He's just, tired of the hassle. But anyway, that's kind of to each their own, right, Sue? But I would recommend using an agent. Get an agent you can trust, recommended from people that have used them. There's a lot of small individual agents. You don't necessarily have to use a big proprietor or something. Sue Rowan says, Triple T, yes, you need to keep on top of these forms and procedures changing constantly. Yeah, yes. And it's not that the law has really changed. I watch a lot of Integrity Legal on YouTube. Benjamin Hart, American attorney and a Thai citizen, and he gives free advice on YouTube. I pretty much watch all of his clips that I think are relevant to me, and he says it's not necessarily changes in the law, but the Immigration Act of 1979 or whatever it was has pretty much not been amended. But the thing about Thailand is there's so much discretion within the law that underneath the actual statute, let's say you got the immigration law, you got statute 3B 105A, right? And right, underneath that statute, it says subject to ministerial regulations. And then the next statute, and underneath that statute, it says subject to ministerial Well, I mean, that's what gives so much discretion. That means each ministry, each department you're dealing with is subject to their regulations. So a lot of regulations come into things. And then, like a lot of people will tell you that have experience in Thailand, it just kind of depends on the immigration officer and the office itself within your jurisdiction. People are not going to have the same experience that I'm having at Rayong with the identical paperwork. They may have a different experience, right? So that's just the way it works. There's so much discretion, and that's just something, it's just a reality of Thailand. But again, I'm not trying to scare anybody, because I know people that have been here 20, 30 years on the same retirement visa or marriage visa, right? So you're pretty much assured to get your annual pro. You just need to start early, use an agent, whatever makes it easier process for you to get everything accepted. Once the application's accepted, regardless of the inspection by the officers coming to the house and all that, once it's accepted, it's pretty much done, right? They will stamp your passport saying the alien is under review for consideration of stay in the Kingdom of Thailand, and it gives you an additional 30 days, right? Beyond your expiration of your actual visa. So even if you didn't get your application turned in until the day, it hadn't expired yet, but the day your visa expired, they accepted it, right? They accepted it on that day, then they'll stamp it, and you're under that 30-day grace period of until the review is complete, because they have to send a copy to headquarters and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I just, I've had so many people ask me for advice on the issue, and my advice is use an agent. You could have the agents, tell the agent, the 2 copies of everything you submit to immigration, I want a 3rd copy for my own records, right? So you can have them do what I do, right? And still have the peace of mind that you have all the documents from the previous year in your possession, right? Should you not be able to use that agent to next year or whatever, right? You keep up with it yourself. But like Sue said, there's a tremendous amount of documents that you must stay on top of. Hey, Jake, thanks for stopping by. Gary says, you have to love dealing with government departments. It is the same everywhere. You're right, Gary. I mean, it's the same in many ways, but also there are differences, right? I know there are things that take place in Thailand that, don't necessarily happen in America. I mean, yeah, they do happen, right? But if found out, if a particular agent that works for the government and draws a salary, like say they're working at the DMV and their job is to take the government fees for licensing of your vehicles and all the necessary requirements for you to be legally on the road, your insurance, your driver's license, whatever, right? That's their job, is just take all that information at the counter and accept the fee from the customer that the government requires. They can't have a side business while they're in that capacity at work, right? They can't have a side business with a customer and say, well, I don't think this is correct. And then the customer would be like, well, how much do I need to pay today to go ahead and get it accepted, right? I mean, it's not that it doesn't happen everywhere. I agree with you, Gary. It can happen everywhere. A lot of similarities in all government, slow as molasses, as they say, trying to get anything done through government offices. That's absolutely 100% correct everywhere you go. But there are other things that may seem routine in a certain country that are almost forbidden in another one, if they are discovered, right? Thanks for that, Gary. Jake says that I'm building a house in the Philippines as we speak, and we'll be moving there permanently on December 1st. Well, congratulations, Jake. Congratulations. I hear the PI is absolutely fantastic. Your money goes a long ways there too, so you can, live in a real nice place, secure village, whatever. And I wish you the best, mate. And come visit Thailand. It's a short trip. Oh, yeah, Triple D. Jake also asked about Triple D. He's a Triple D fan. Ron's in Hawaii. Okay, guys, I think I'm caught up with that. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Jake. I wish everybody the best. I'm not one of these guys that say, Thailand was my choice, so that's really the only choice. There's nothing better than Thailand. I mean, no, to each their own. It depends on what you like. And, first and foremost, if you have a partner that is a native of the Philippines, it only makes sense that might be where you'd want to pitch your tent, right? So anyway, guys, we had a tremendous amount of rain. I woke up yesterday morning about 4:30 and emptied the rain gauge, and by 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, we had 5 inches of rain. So that was a lot of rain. We need it, though. We've been very dry, and they're predicting a really long dry season in 2024, which really technically dry season will start in December of 2023, but it could be completely dry from December through May. Wouldn't be uncommon. So, okay, we got Brownie out here. The bar girl is out, Jake. If you remember watching some videos from the open mic Pala, we adopted Brownie, and she stayed at the bar. And now she's 3 years old. So she's out, and Blackie's in the backyard because her and Blackie cannot be together. Blackie is our first rescue dog, and she's a female. And then there's Big Jake, big baby Jake, Blackie's boy. Let's see where Triple D's at. Very proud of this name plaque. People say, why would you have a name plaque with Mr. in your full legal name? That was made by the Royal Thai Army to hang over my apartment on campus. So it was a gift to me, right? When I left there after 2 years, hey, you want your nameplate? Yeah, I'll take it. It's metal, very, very well done. So that's why. Hence the name Teacher Thomas Thailand. I taught high school for a couple of years too, but I'm really, really proud to be a part of the Royal Thai Army Academy, which will be part of my application. Huh? Well, Brownie's been so rowdy already, she's already got Dan out of his bed. Dan wasn't here, Jake. Jake Hodges. Meet Jake the doggy, huh? I'm sure you're aware. Jake says, I have a real sweetheart. Her name is Chris. Well, Chris, if you're watching, hello from Thailand. Triple T says, best of luck to you and your amazing man. Jake Hodges, wish you the best, happiest life in the Philippines. Beautiful tropical Philippine islands. So we got to find Dan. Any musicians out there? Can you read that? The lighting's not that great at the moment. Any musician should know how to read that. I'm not going to spoil it by giving it out. Where's Dan? Anyways, we're fixing to close it out once we file Triple D. Got the truck outside because of the rainy season. Ron says, may I ask what you did while you were in the Army? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was first and foremost an infantryman. My active duty time got cut short because I became very, very ill while on active duty. I was in the hospital for 46 days, which anybody knows the Army, you got to be pretty damn sick to be in the hospital for 46. So that kind of cut my active duty short. I was Soldier of the Month of Honor Platoon through boot camp. I was 17 years old, had to have my mother sign for me, come from a very, very disturbed childhood. A lot of alcoholics and stepdads and stepmoms and, yeah, a lot of craziness in my family. Born in 1964, the last of the baby boom. Had a total of 9 siblings. I'm the youngest of 9. So, I wasn't a criminal or anything. I didn't join the Army because I had a criminal record or something. I joined because I felt like it was a good opportunity for me. I didn't have any parental support to speak of. So dropped out of high school, went to work, made money, and then joined the Army. But after boot camp, because I was promoted to E2 immediately after boot camp because I was the Soldier of the Month for Honor Platoon, Echo Company, 2nd Platoon in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And my master sergeant, my number 1 drill sergeant of our company, Sergeant Marshall, God bless you, they all recommended me for Special Forces because I excelled so well in boot camp and had a lot of leadership abilities, which I don't know if it's because I was raised the youngest child and I, got my ass beat by my 5 older brothers. I was pretty wise kid. I think there's something to the youngest always having a little bit more wisdom than some of the older ones because they learned from the older siblings' mistakes and didn't have to make all those mistakes themselves, right? And got bullied a lot and stuff, being the runt, the little one, right? Anyway, so, unfortunately, I got cut short, and then I had to go to reserve after the hospitalization incident, and I still suffer from it today. I have service-connected disability due to that illness. It destroyed my immune system. Basically, I was diagnosed with toxic shock syndrome in 1982 while on active duty, and you can Google toxic shock syndrome. It had a 70% mortality rate, okay, in men and boys at that time. Women were getting it because of a certain fiber that they were using, right? But men and boys were getting it due to exposures to certain things in their body. Basically, it's your own immune system trying to kill you. I was in acute distress, right? So anyway, that really changed my military career, and after that, I was attached to the 354th Chemical Company out of Russellville, Arkansas. And what we did was provide air cover for the infantry. We operated smoke generators, which has one of the lowest life expectancies of any profession in the Army, because you're putting out this big, huge plume of smoke. So you're pretty easy to find. But everybody that's underneath the smoke that's coming together is camouflaged from the air, right? So anyway, that's basically it. I'm no hero, never served in combat or anything. I did do some, TDY overseas and stuff, but yeah, no hero, nothing like that. It could have been a big difference if I hadn't have got sick, if I hadn't have got that toxic shock syndrome. And, they basically forced me into going reserves, which I much preferred rather than a medical discharge. I really didn't, I was objecting to that. So I was given an option, and basically I served from 82 to 88, and a large majority of it was reserve time. And that's the end of that story. Thanks for the question. Where are you, Dan? He's got a lot of hiding places, guys. He kind of likes to stay to himself when I let Brownie out early because she's so rowdy. He's not up here, is he? No. Huh? Did you chase Dan away? Huh? Where you at, Dan? He does come to me a lot. When I start hollering, he'll come lay down in the office, especially if it's raining. It's been raining every morning for quite a bit, so he's probably right in here. Let's see. Where you at, Dan? He's got a hole in here. He in there? No, he's not in there. He sees a feed pan in there. Triple D, I can't close a live stream unless you make an appearance. He's here somewhere. Dan, good boy. Where you at? Huh? You hungry? I haven't fed him yet. You hungry? Huh? He's got other beds over here. He's been actually going in the office and laying underneath my desk right at my feet. So we're coming a long ways with old Triple D. He's got several beds in here. Dan. Triple D. Triple D. You hungry? You want a snack? Huh? You want a snack? The only reason he's hiding is because of Brownie. If I hadn't let Brownie out, Jake, Dan would probably still be sleeping in the office. Triple D! There he is. Oh, he was in the garage. Good boy. You hungry? You hungry? You want to show your fans how you're doing? Huh? See, he came out when Brownie and Jake started barking at something. He's a really good guard dog. He protects his home now. Don't you, Dan? Huh? Better say hello to everybody so I can get busy. I got to go to immigration again, Dan. Huh? Good boy. Brownie, you leave him alone. So he was in here laying down. Oh, there he is. Right beside the Kawasaki. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the live stream. Appreciate it. There you go, Jake. And all those Triple D lovers. He is absolutely fantastic. Do you like your garage? It's nice and dry, huh? Hey, Ron. Cheers, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. Aloha to Hawaii, man. God bless the people of Lahaina. My God, man. We all were praying for you guys, man. That's crazy out there. And whew. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Triple D, Sue says hello. Huh? You gonna hang out with Sue when she comes and visit us? So, yeah, I might give her a glimpse of the VIP rescue dog, huh? Only people who are privileged get to hang out with Triple D, huh? All right, guys. Thanks for watching, man. I'm going to sign off right here. Peace and love to everyone. Thank you all so much. Sue, Gary, Ron, Jake, everybody that's watching, people that don't comment when they watch, we appreciate you too. You never have to worry about comment, like, subscribe, share, all that junk. Just watch the videos you enjoy and pass the ones that you're not particularly interested in, right? All right, guys, thanks for watching. Triple T, signing out. Dan, say bacon. Bacon and pork chops. They want some open mic bacon and sausage. Okay, Gary. Goodbye, Gary. Be safe driving, mate. So happy you have your lovely, lovely lady back with you. We'll talk to you later, guys. See you on the next video. Good boy, Dan. Good boy. He's a good boy.